Good evening, Adya. Welcome to the show. Can you please give us an introduction?
Hi Akash, it's lovely to be here with you. I watched a lot of your
Pleasure is
stuff,
mine.
so
Thank you.
it's been fun watching your podcasts and everything. It's like, enriching because not many times on Instagram do you see very candid podcasts and everything. So it was fun to see something new. And so just to introduce myself to the audience, my name is Adya Poojari and I've studied clinical psychology in my bachelor's as well as my master's. Recently, I have done a course on disability as well. It's a proper licensure course, so that has been enriching experience as well because rehabilitation, disability, and working with children has always been a huge part of me. So that's a little about me. I majorly specialize in clinical psychology, like I said. So that includes my specialization. What I primarily deal with on a day-to-day basis would be relationship counseling. Any person who has issues with marriage, with their relationships, if they're going through a breakup, that is something that I deal with. Other than that, I also help people who have anxiety or any disorder, but mainly I am currently
Right.
dealing with anxiety attacks and things of such a nature, which have a comorbidity. That is mainly my expertise at the moment.
Can you tell us a little about your clinic?
Yes, so my company that I have founded, it's not a huge company right now. It's a few people own company. So I am the founder. My company's name is Neurobloom. Like I said, we have multiple cases which we have, but what I deal with is this primarily, and a few other things on the side. However, with other clients who come to me, I refer them to other psychologists or psychiatrists,
Right.
depending on their needs, to whoever is there available and who is fit for them in the panel. Because I don't believe in taking all the cases that come to me. So I just refer them to the specialized person who is there, who can
Right.
actually help them, who is a master in their field at the moment. So we all have a specialized area where we work in, and when the clients come and what their needs are, we refer them to that person. And then we have this whole therapy module which is there. We tell them about how therapy works, what it is, because a lot of people know what therapy is, but they don't really know what therapy is, if you get what I mean. Everybody has an idea of
Right.
what therapy is, but they don't exactly know how it works and how it needs to go about. So we explain all of that to them in the first meeting, tell them, how it is going to go ahead and get an idea of what they're looking for. And then, we progress with the therapy and we keep taking constant feedbacks from them to understand, is it actually working from them? Because we don't like to assume anything. So we do that a lot.
So let's move on to the topic of toxic relationships. Since you deal with a lot of relationship problems, you would be very good at talking about it. So, in
Right.
your own words, could you describe what toxic relationship means?
Yes, absolutely. I think all of us, somewhere down the line, have had at least one toxic relationship in our life.
Yes.
I don't mean that romantically, though a lot of us, or most of us, have had that as well, or are
Yes.
currently stuck in a toxic relationship. But other than the romantic part of toxic relationships, I think everybody has been in some kind of toxic relationship, be it with teachers, be it with friends, be it with a family, be it with any other person that you come across. We've experienced a toxic relationship. So I think this is a very close to heart topic for every individual, because toxic relationships affect everything in our lives. From the way we perceive things, to the way we perceive people, to the things we do in life, and how we behave, how we characterize ourselves. It is really based a lot upon toxic relationships, because relationships we have other than with ourselves, that also makes us a part of who we are and how we perceive ourselves, what kind of relationship we have with ourselves. So that is a lot, I believe. And today, since we are going to talk about relationships which are toxic romantically, this also comes, toxicity in romantic relationship also comes with, like I said, other toxic relationships that we've had. Most of the times, I think by the time we realize we're in a toxic relationship, or that we have been in a toxic relationship, it is either too late or we're almost at the edge. And that is very common. It has happened with me as well, that I did not realize that, the bonds that I've had within family, And it doesn't have to be like mom or dad or anybody, like generally, the family environment that you live in or the people that you're around were toxic. And that's the way that I imbibe a few qualities. And this happens, I mean, this is a common scenario across the globe with every single person, that we imbibe our qualities from our family or the circle we are in. Right now that I have imbibed those qualities, I will obviously impart those in every aspect of my life. Now, what happens is, let's say I'm in a relationship. Okay. Now, I will obviously act or demand based on the values and morals that I have been taught, right? And that I have imparted. Now, I will have demands which are irrational. So, it's coming from somewhere, but I'm putting it somewhere, and now it's affecting a person that I'm not even wanting to trouble or something, but subconsciously I'm just tuned like that. So that is the first thing we need to understand. It's not always a conscious behavior, it's subconscious most of the times. I mean, if you love someone, obviously it should not be conscious, but subconscious behavior, of course. So it is a very subconscious behavior that we imbibe, and then we try to put that in practice, and that affects our partners a lot. Now, when we talk about toxicity, it's not a questionable thing what toxic is. It can't be different for everybody. Toxic is the same for every person. And some people will say, no, that's not true, because maybe it's different for me. Maybe my partner wants something. How can it be, right? That's a common thing that we
Right.
experience. How to answer that? I think even while we were both discussing the topic, we were thinking, what is toxic, right? So just to put it simply, toxic means anything that is not letting you grow, that does not allow you space to have your own time at your own with your own self, which is forcing things down your throat that you do not agree with, that does not let you be yourself or be comfortable. If you're constantly walking on eggshells thinking, what is my partner going to think, can I even say this in front of the person, these are toxic signs that anybody should not, nobody should go through this. And anybody who feels that these are things that they can identify, they should work upon it. There are other things also, like when your partner is being disrespectful to you, right? If you're in an abusive relationship. Now, abuse and toxicity are two different things, however they are correlated, because a toxic can mean mentally, and and so does abusive. It can be mentally, verbally, or physically. So this can be quite similar, but even if you're going through any kind of physical abuse, obviously you're in a toxic relationship. Then comes if you are being dishonest, or you feel like lying constantly, or if your partner is lying to you, you see dishonesty or a lack of loyalty, a lack of empathy on either your side or your partner's. That's a toxic relationship. Now, when we talk about empathy, that means if you can't empathize with that person, meaning you can't put yourself in their shoes and feel what they are, and wanting, not, you don't feel the need to go that extra mile to help them. If you're constantly having arguments and you can't settle, having arguments is not bad at all. However, if it's something that you're just arguing upon and you don't come up with a solution to it, you are not
Right.
discussing things, then there is no point of arguing, because you can do this for years and years, and people do it for decades. They fight and they don't come up with a plausible solution of how to move forward to avoid this issue and move forward and be constructive. Then you should know you're in a toxic vicious cycle. And also when we talk about toxic relationships, both the parties should be able and wanting to change this behavior of theirs. And one last thing that I want to add is that they should be wanting to seek help in solving it. If they have had these problems for a long time, if they are just being close and they are like, no, we can't tell people, we need to hide this or we need to hide that, somewhere down the line, if you're bottled up, the bottle will eventually explode or overflow, right? So to
Hmm.
avoid that, I would say that that is also toxic, because you're bottling yourself up, both the partners. So it's not healthy. That's toxic. So it's a very simple thing to so as to say, to
Now there are
define or
no
to find.
questions left.
Yeah,
Yeah, you said
definitely.
everything.
No, this is, I don't think this is everything, but it's a just, like when you talk about toxic, it's a lot. Like I'll tell you, something that I would have missed is jealousy. Okay, I would not say that that is the only toxic thing,
Is
because
it toxic?
I yes, definitely.
Right.
Okay, I saw this somewhere, and I'll tell you, like, this is the best way to put it. I heard it somewhere. I can't put a finger on it. I heard this. They said, when you're jealous of someone, right? Is it actually that bad? Because is because it's helping you be better, right? You're looking at someone, you're jealous, you want to be like someone, and you want to be better, right? So how is that bad? How is it bad to follow a negative emotion and to be positive? If it's making you get positive, if I can get a six-pack ab, or if I can have the figure I wanted, I can follow a diet I wanted, how is it bad? So the answer to that is that the person who was telling this said, if you put a firecracker on a donkey's ass, he will run faster. But is it really good? The emotions that they have, is it really good? It's not, right? So
Right.
the same way, and I remember now, this is something that Sadhguru has said, that this is a very good example, that if you make a person chase their dreams, make them be positive by negative emotions instead of actually finding the right way. My understanding was this of what he had said, and the example that he had said, that these things are negative. Then I also myself added to this that jealousy is also bad, because you don't understand, you're not doing this from a positive space. Like, when our
Right.
parents help us be better, the good parenting would say that give positive rewards, don't always punish. Same as when we're in a relationship, a healthy nurturing relationship, your partner won't constantly nag you. A funny taunt here and there, and you doing that, that's a healthy thing. But when you talk about, your partner constantly nagging you and telling you, no, you can't be like this, you have to do this my way, or there is no other way, this is the right way to do. uh, Sometimes you might adapt to it, but if it's a constant throughout the relationship, it's not going to work out, because it's not coming from a positive place. It's coming from a space wherein your partner wants you to be like them, or else there is no other way. Your partner is not open to your ways. So it's not coming from a positive way all the time. They want you to be better because they see something lacking in you. They don't see the positivity that is there in you. So same with jealousy. It's not good because it's like a negative emotion. You're trying to make it positive and you're fueling yourself with that negativity. So eventually it will show some things in your life which won't be that positive. So that
What if
is my
your
take on it.
what if your partner spends time with someone, starts interacting with someone frequently, and you get a
Hmm.
little upset? So how would you express it if you do not feel jealous? You have to assert yourself,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. I don't think we need to assert ourselves, but it's yeah. So I
Let
think
our
this also
opinion know.
happens. Yeah, of course. You have to say something. Obviously, if you're feeling something, you should. That is my
Hmm.
thing. If you're feeling something, just go. Don't overthink about it. Just go and communicate it with your partner. That's actually a very good point that you brought up, because this is something that the people don't know how to. They either overreact or they bottle themselves up
Both are
when
wrong.
they feel something. Yeah, exactly. If you talk about it in this intellectual space, it feels so easy. But when somebody's in the situation, it is so difficult for them to do, like
Yes.
it doesn't come so naturally because we are not trained. Nobody talks about these things. They just tell you, usko bolo, to either choose you or them. They can, it's always like that. It's either them or you. So it's not a fight. It's not like
Hmm.
they need to
It's an
choose
ultimatum.
somebody. Yeah, it's like an ultimatum. It's like such a negative thing. And I'm not saying that, everybody is uh, doing this or they're not cheating. Some people might, but why to make that let's say a stereotype and say that no, this is the normal and that is not? Because now we don't live in a time, we don't live in 1920s. I don't even think tabbi this would have been a thing wherein if a guy talks to a girl, then definitely he wants to speak with her or do something with her. No, we still carry that. We are in 2022 and still women and men talk about it like that. Women are slut shamed. Men are told that men are like that only. They are always wanting to either sleep with a girl, have a relationship, or have something on the side because they can't stick with one person. I don't think that is true. I have multiple friends who have stayed in long-term relationships, who are loyal. They don't even talk about someone else. If we, taunt them about some other girl, they will be shy as hell. Okay, so I don't believe that that is a stereotype that we should feed it or make that a thing that men are like this and women are like that. No, that's not true at all. That is not at all true. And that is why I say that when you're communicating your, coming back to your question, When we talk about how to express yourself, I would say, uh, let's take your example itself. I am, I have my partner and he meets a girl and I'm thinking, oh my God, she is so much better and she looks really hot and she has, I don't know, why is he talking to her? Why is he talking to her twice? Sometimes even once we get jealous, like, what were you talking about, for an hour? What was the point? Why are you like smiling? This is something that shows my character, first of all. Okay, that is not showing how bad or good or whatever my partner or the girl is. It shows my insecurity. I am insecure about my looks. I am insecure about my partner going. I am insecure about my relationship with my partner, because if some girl talking to him once is having this huge an impact on me, that speaks volumes about me and my partner and our relationship than it talks about him talking to that girl, right? Because is our relationship so weak that my partner will go away? And if so, why am I with such a person that can go away with one conversation or two conversations? That is bad, right? So obviously my partner is not going. This is just me projecting my fears on my partner talking to a girl or a boy,
Right, but
whatever.
you shouldn't also live in an ignoring bliss. I think there should be a balance, right? Like you should set the
No, no,
boundaries
no.
beforehand.
See, you can't do that beforehand. I
Okay.
don't believe so. We talk about it. That's what I'm saying. When we don't live in that era anymore where you can have boundaries. Earlier when we spoke about monogamous relationships, we didn't mean monogamous at one time. We meant monogamy in your life, right?
Right.
Now we talk about monogamy in a relationship. Like if I'm dating a girl, then I'm with that girl, and then if we break up, then we'll be in. That's not what monogamy meant back when the thing founded. It meant one person for your life. Right now we mean one wife or a one husband for one marriage. We have come to that, and it's not a negative thing, it's not a bad thing, it's nothing. But I mean to say, we don't live in that era where you can be so strict about these things, because things are not simple. Earlier there was no social media, so our interaction was men meet men, because the activities that men used to do were confined to them only, so they had a circle.
Right.
Now we have a circle usually. Yeah, earlier also girls spoke to girls and they had their own circles, their own activities, so they were bound. Correct.
Hmm.
Now it is a mixture. If a guy plays golf, a girl will also be there to play golf. Correct. If a guy plays cricket, there is a chance he'll meet a girls' team. Correct. If a guy plays football, there'll be a girls' team also. Right. That is what progression is. So how can you tell a man or a woman that you can't meet an XYZ person? They are bound to. Right. Same is with relationships. It's constantly evolving. Relationship mein aane se pehle, the courtship period that we say, na, the dating period or whatever, even in that, you can't decide if you meet a girl, you will always tell me. Or if you speak to someone, you can only speak to them for 30 minutes or 35 minutes. There are people who actually do that. That, I have been hurt so much. So now going forward in my relationship, these are the 20 commandments that you need to follow. Otherwise, it won't work out, or I'll go. You can't ask me questions.
You know what happened? I asked a girl for a podcast. So I said, hey, do you want to do a podcast? You know what she said? I have a boyfriend.
Okay. Maybe she's been hurt. See, this is what I'm saying. I was telling you about this, when we were talking about deciding a topic and everything. So I told you, right? I recently got a message from someone, and the
Right.
person was known, and I just later on realized the number that I have on my LinkedIn is not even the number that he texted on. So the entire thing was futile, of people telling me don't even put your number, because that was not even the number. That was a third number that I used for my work. It was not even my work number. It was not my number. It was my company number. So the thing was that people would tell me remove your number or this thing or that thing. The girl that you texted, maybe she's been traumatized so much, or she's been attuned that no
Right.
guy should reach out to me, or if he is going to do that. But I don't want to be like that. People tell me to be like that. Even when I posted that, multiple men and a few women agreed with that thought, stating that don't put your number out, give your number to trusted people. How do I know if I should trust you? Just by your looks, just by the posts that you're in, just by the number of followers you have, that means you're legit. No, people who have multiple followers who are verified can also have bad thoughts or negative thoughts, or they can impact my life badly. People who are at great positions, they sometimes say really bad things, really mean things. And I saw this when I posted something. I have seen that. So you cannot define people by the number of followers you have, by what great post you are at, or how legitimate people think you are. The way you react with me or you behave with me is how I will judge you, because your experience with somebody else can be different and with me can be different. So
Yes.
just the same thing. Why should people curb their experiences, or why should I say every boy is like that when so many of my clients are men? So obviously they're trying to work on themselves, right, to make it better for their relationship with their partner, right? So I
Partly,
don't judge.
partly, I think it's also because glorification by popular culture. That men are always trying to sleep with someone, or women are always trying to do this. This ingrains an idea in us.
Yes, definitely it does, that men are like that. But I don't know what is a better way to put it, but it is, at least from my, I'll speak from my personal experience, not putting anybody in
Right,
any
right.
shadow. But it is like, when I posted this, there were so many people who were telling me that the first thing is curb yourself, don't put your number out. Why should I not put my number out? Where will I get my business from? How can I grow my business? How will I connect with good people? If I did not have an Instagram, or if I did not, let's say, respond to you, how would I get this opportunity? Correct. Only when I spoke to you can I get to know, right, that if this is legitimate or not, if this is something that I'm willing to do or not,
Right.
right? And there were so many things that we could mutually agree upon or disagree upon. You learn something, I, in the midst of talking to you, will learn so much. So first of all, don't curb your partner or anybody from this. Don't, rather will not speak in don't, I'll speak in what you should do. Give yourself opportunity, give yourself the freedom to make mistakes. Don't think that, okay, fine, so 10 guys spoke badly to me, so the 11th guy will also be the same. Don't have these preconceived notions, right? Give yourself that opportunity. If the person proves to be pathetic and they are after you multiple times saying no, then clearly give them your peace of mind, stand up for yourself, block the person, don't need to respond. You don't owe people an explanation. Don't think my image will be ruined just because now I've blocked the person, or I've not spoken to them, or
Why
I'm
would
being
the image be
impolite.
ruined?
Because it is because I'll tell you, I told you also, no, coming back to the same incident, when I
Right.
block people, they will find me on another platform and talk shit to me. They will be very negative to me. They will tell me, you think too much of yourself, you are arrogant. Okay, and being a naive person, I used to feel that, am I really that negative? Is there a better way to handle it? Because these days there are so many rules, to follow and to be polite. And with
Yes,
social
there are.
media, anybody posting anything, there is so much of confusion, right? So you can't always confine to those norms. You're human, you're bound to mistake, but what do you learn from them? And if you're not being negative towards somebody, you're not impacting somebody's life negatively, it's fine to make mistakes. Sometimes you might even be negative to somebody, but if you didn't purposely do that, there is always a room for error. You can't be a perfect person or a thing, right? You're not a robot. So it's the same way, you can't follow all the norms. So people think that you are negative, you're an arrogant girl, especially because I am a woman. So they'll say you're an arrogant girl, you're impacting me negatively. And there are many other people who will say the same to you, that, maybe you should not have blocked the person because you're being rude. Yeah, he just asked you out. But they don't understand. The reason for me blocking the person would be because I want to cut off from that person, because it is affecting my mental health. If they message me 10 days later, let's say 10 days they didn't text me, then the 11th day they'll be like, oh, let's be friends now. You didn't. But I know eventually after 20 days or a month later, they'll again go back to the same story. That much sense I have. So, I would be a person who'll cut the person off, right? Because they are not adding something and I'm not comfortable. So it's fine to remove such people from your life. There is no explanation that you need to owe, and people will still put you down on any good thing that you do. So it is fine. You should
Yeah.
live freely. You should live freely.
Right.
Don't need to think too much about these things, because this will always happen with the best thing you do. We see so many great leaders, they are also put down. Somebody will say something, So it's fine. People always have their opinions and they're entitled to it. So be it. You are entitled to your own opinion. And then when it comes to relationships, also, I think this applies so much, that your partner is entitled to their life. They have agreed to. They don't owe you anything. You don't owe anything to your partner. But what you both have agreed to is a healthy, committed relationship. So why don't you think of ways to nurture it? People don't take it like that. Mostly couples, I think even me, when I got in relationships in the first time, and it was a really long-term relationship and everything. I initially everything is rosy. You're so much in love and everything is so perfect. The guy is so perfect. Everything is so nice, right? You have that excitement every time when you wake up in the morning. You want to check your phone before sleeping. You're just like in awe of everything. But when things get serious, when you start living with the person, let's say, or when we talk about marriages, there's so much changes, because you're constantly with them. Earlier, when you go on dates, you just spend 4 hours at the max, or let's say 6 hours at the max, right? You don't literally spend days and weeks confined with the same person in the same house, in the same room. So you don't get to know of how the person is. And we seldom talk about how to nurture the relationship. It mainly becomes a fight about, am I getting what I want in this relationship? And then the man would also be like, am I getting what I want from this relationship or the marriage or whatever the commitment is? They talk in the terms of me, right? Or am I? So that is where it goes wrong. The I part should come when you're talking about yourself, but when you're talking about the relationship, it should be the two-way street, no, not a one-way street. That is what I completely tell everybody, that that's how it should be. But when you talk about self and toxicity, you should also remember that you should have space for yourself as well. Any couple who says that no, we're constantly together, great, but do you give yourself time? That is very important, because you lose a sense of yourself. It will impact your social life, your family life, your personal life, your financial life, everything, because mentally you're not there. If you're not meeting people other than with your partner, then you won't interact with so many, because when you, as an individual, you have different experiences. When you go as a couple, you will have different experiences. So going out with your friends and interacting with different people, it is very necessary. It will help you have a very healthy social life. It'll financially, how it helps you make a lot of connections. You will think differently about your finances, because a couple, if you go, when do you actually see a couple talking about finances with another couple, or another man or a woman? It doesn't happen. But when a man or a woman go separately, you will learn about it. Let's say a guy and a guy, if a guy is from finance, he'll say, you know what, I've done this and done that, I'm planning of buying a car. You will give them 10 other options, right? Of, yeah, you can do this is how you can do it, right? So you have different experiences when you go out on your own. You figure things out, and you have something to go back to and enrich your partner's life as well. You
Right.
will tell them that I learned this something new. Would you want to? Do you want to know? We can do this, so you can apply it to your own life. So I think it's very important to not to be together, but also to be apart. You should give that time to yourself.
Makes sense. So, when you said that most of the people who are or were in a toxic relationship, it's too late. So, what signs or indications should a person see so that they can know that they are in a toxic relation? Because it's too difficult, right? Like you said.
I think coming out of a toxic relationship is too difficult, but knowing the signs is not. Okay. Knowing the signs
Right.
is very easy. I think everybody knows they're in a toxic relationship, but they don't want to believe it. Or it's a very comfortable space for them. It's like, you've heard that terminology where they say it's the known devil. They know the person. Even if a person, why do you think women who are capable, who are independent, working women, do not go out of a marriage wherein the husband beats her? It's not because she can't. Of course she can. There are women who don't even have kids. But for once, people say that, oh, there are kids, how will she manage it on her own or whatever? Okay, but what about women? What about women who are not even married? Why are they taking that? Why are men who are in toxic relationship with a women who are mentally torturing them or abusing them? Why are they with them? What could be the reason? They are not married. They don't have any financial issues. Why are they together? It's because they're
Is it
comfortable. It's a known
right?
space, right? it's not because somebody's putting a gun to their head and telling them, no, you have to be with her. The parents also, so many times, who are supportive parents, they know about the boy being in a relationship or the girl being in a relationship. They say, get out. It's not meant for you. Are you fine? They are there for you, right? Your parents are there. Why do they continue to be there? Because of their own mental traumas. Because the person has had such a huge impact on their life, negative or positive, at some point, that they've been tuned to be like that. They cannot imagine a life without their partner. They cannot think beyond what will happen if I stop talking to them. They're just thinking about the next day or the next week. They are not thinking about their lives. If they did, what are they scared of? Let's talk about that. People who in toxic relationships are scared about, why are they scared about getting out? Because they can't imagine their lives without the partner. They don't know a life without their partner. They think, who will text me in the morning? Who will come and meet me? Who will do XYZ? You can do it yourself. You
That
will
is
find.
why that is why, like you said, it is so important to have a personal space as well, so that you have a
Exactly.
life of your own, right?
Yes, and absolutely, that is a major reason, because when you're constantly with the stuck in a room or a house, let's say during COVID, with the same person, you will bother them. Okay, let me put it in a better way. Your happiness is based on you, not the other person, right?
Right.
Nobody can carry this responsibility of keeping you happy for a very long time or even some time, because at the end of the day, they were the same person when you met them. They're the same person now. You were the same person when you guys met. You're the same person now. There is no change. The only change is that you have burdened each other with expectations and demands. There is no
Right.
nurturing. It's not like that guy changed in a day or the girl changed in a. Why do you think in India there's this very common saying, or in across the globe rather, that the person or the couple has changed after marriage, the man has changed after marriage? Because not because he literally changed, okay, it's because he couldn't keep up with those demands constantly. Do you get it? And the same goes
Right.
for a woman. Men say, oh my god, she was so much better before, I was married to her, or before we lived in, or before the long term commitment. It was so much better when we were dating. It's not because she changed. She is now expecting more, and so is the man expecting more, that I get my own space to do things. I had my life before her. I want to continue that. Now, the other partner does not see that, because they have never seen that part of you for a prolonged time. So this is new to them. That is why I also suggest couples, if you spend time together, but also don't keep your social circle completely away from your partner. Like, sometimes have time when you meet mutual friends, so that your partner also understand that in a social space, this is how my partner reacts. So many women and so many men, they don't even know how their partner reacts to another guy or another girl. That's why these things come. Oh my god, you were so close, you're hugging them. Maybe the girl hugs the guy, so many guys, when in during their personal time, or they have. How is that a problem? How is that a problem? And if you have a problem, communicate it, that I felt uncomfortable, give me some space, or give me an idea of, give me some time, don't do it till this time, and then when I'm comfortable, you can be. We are having problems right now, we are having relationship issues, I'm uncomfortable. When you meet, communicate it. Don't curb a person ki you can't do this, matlab I have said it, now you just can't. That is not rational neither for you, and that person is going to do that again, and it's going to hurt you more, right? Not because the person is wanting to do this to hurt you, but because they are not attuned. They also need to change their habit in order to adjust to you. So, it takes time. And when we talk about toxic, you said it's difficult to know the signs. It's not. Everybody knows if they're in a healthy space in a relationship or not. Even when you would have had a breakup, you would know that it's not working out for a long time. It's just that we hold on to that thing to continue the relationship, which is fine in some cases, because you should always give it a try if it can work, but it should not be one-sided. Your partner should also want to give the same, and there is only a little window till when you can convince them to feel otherwise. But mostly your partner has made up their mind, and so have you. So those signs, like I said, jealousy, not being able to spend time, being cut off from your social circle, not being able to care about yourself. If there was something that made you feel, let's say you love to play games and now you can't be gaming, or the girl love to spend time on dressing up, or taking care of their skin, or let's say they had a hobby, of reading. Now they can't because they're so involved in household work, or even just talking to their boyfriend, constantly fighting. It impacts their life. So many girls I know, they are brilliant students, but they're not able to focus. Why? Because this thing of whether I should spend time with him, he constantly tells me to go out with him or to, go for a drive. I can't do that. What do I do? So these things are toxic. You need to either communicate it. I'm not saying toxic means up to relationship, we need to end it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying find ways to make it not toxic, make it healthy, make a healthy relationship. Not everybody needs a breakup, not every marriage needs to be broken, right? But that again goes to say not every marriage can be saved, not every relationship is meant to be saved. That is a very important thing. And when we talk about breakups or things going apart, again, I always tell this to people, sometimes it is for the good. Okay, it is
Yes.
good for you and your partner, and if you genuinely love the person, you would want the best for them. If you didn't, that's when you would, curb them, put them, no, you are mine. That's not how love really works. You would give them their space. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, love them still, but you can also have your own life. You don't have to constantly be with them to show that love. And that's how people know that if you're in a toxic relationship or not. And then it's upon you to either be on the edge and then fix it, either be at the verge of breaking up or being broken and then fixing it. Or when you see these signs, you try to communicate better, you try to find mutual things, you try to reach out for help, to get ideas or ways to communicate. Sometimes it's our innate fears or the consequences that you're stuck in. Let's say work, social life, family, whatever, they're pressuring you due to something that's coming out on your partner. It can be a vast variety of things that you and your partner, because you don't come from that third party space, looking at your relationship from the outside, you might not be able to figure that out. So it's better for the other person to figure that out and tell you that, yeah, this is toxic, don't do this, let's do these XYZ things, and this is how we can improve. And it helps people, right?
So you would
So
recommend couples therapy?
yes, to people who need it. And again, this would be a good question, right? How do we know if they need it? These are the signs. If you are in a vicious circle, you're unable to solve things which you are having constant fights about, don't continue to think, we will be fine. Who wants to spend so much of money? You might be spending more money, more effort, more things by buying them. I'll tell you why I say that. So many couples who have fights now, what they do is, it's a very
They try
common
to
thing, and I don't,
compensate.
yeah, they compensate by either buying gifts in that moment that I genuinely love. So how do I tell this person? And they're like, wait, what does she like? Let's say I'll send her chocolates and flowers to tell her I really love her. Or the girl will also do the same. She'll send you the best thing that she can think of. You wanted a t-shirt, you wanted denims, you wanted those sneakers. She will just bombard you with that, and you're like, yeah, she really loves me. That is a good way to tell your partner you love them, but that's not solving your issue, right? You're spending so much of money to compensate, and then you fight upon those gifts also. That's another problem. Then that makes you hate those gifts, like, I love this shoe, but she gave it to me and now she's making me feel like that, I hate it. Again, we go to that vicious cycle, correct? So the way is not to buy
The
gifts
root
something.
cause
It's
is
a,
not being treated, right?
yeah, exactly, it's not being treated, it's not being taken care of, it's not even being looked at. You will talk, of course, it's a good thing for some time thing, okay, like gesture, it's a good gesture. But after that moment is solved, the heat of the moment after giving that gift is solved, assign yourself a time to talk about the actual problem that you have. What is it that she is feeling? And don't ever put anybody down for the feelings that they have. If they feel insecure, don't tell them, oh my god, you're so typical, how can you feel insecure? Right? And this goes regardless of gender. We always hear about women being insecure. No, men also feel insecure. They just show it in different ways. And women ka bahut commonly you hear it. But both partners feel insecure. Both partners want trust. They want loyalty. Both partners want spending time. Both partners want physical intimacy. Both partners want their own personal life to be respected, their choices to be respected. All of these go hand in hand. It's not a girl thing. It's not a guy thing. I don't like to put these in boxes. A healthy relationship would never, would always be regardless of gender, right? So these things should never be said. Then, to treat this thing when we are giving gifts, just abhi humne bola, it's not a bad thing, but we should not attempt to do that. When we know that the person, this is the root cause, let's treat that. If you're constantly going back to the same fight, you're unable to do that, seek help. What's the problem? You're spending so much anyways by buying them 20 gifts in a month or maybe in 2-3 months. Why not spend that money to actually lead a healthy relationship? Then you also spend more mentally. You're exhausted. You're hampering your work. You are hampering your life by your health. You are constantly being so angry. It affects your health. You agree with it or not. People don't think that this is true at all, that it affects your health. It does. You are unable to maintain a routine. You're unable to eat healthy. You're eating whatever is there. You're eating at odd times. You can't work out or even do anything healthy to stay fit. You're not doing it. Why? Because your mind is constantly preoccupied with that. And that has in turn affected your work, your studies, your XYZ. So you're compensating for those things. So you're again have so much of backlog. How will you do anything productive during that time? Right? And some people are like, no, my breakup helped me work through this. Great, awesome. I love that. But did you also solve the problems that came with the breakup or how it affected your mental health? If not, then work on it. Some people are brilliant people that I have seen, they genuinely work on it. And I feel that those people are inspiration for me as well, as a therapist, and for other people also, that you actually worked on it. They had no reason. They had the money, they had the looks, they had everything. Why did they go and work on it? Why? Because your mental health actually impacts every single aspect. People say, why only rich people or people who have money can go and get help or couples therapy. It's not true. It's not true, because it's not about that. Your mental health actually affects how you work with your finances, your life, your family. Every single thing is related with the way you think, you perceive things, right? So why not actually go into therapy? Or else, if therapy is something that you're not comfortable with, mutually find text that is written in books, not some random thing which always suggests go for
Instagram
date nights.
posts.
Yeah, it is not. See, date night is good, but date night is not solving your problem. It is a temporary band-aid. Okay, the moment the band-aid is ripped off, you will see it, and the wound is going to be even more deeper and hurt. So there's no point of going for date nights. It is not helping you. You are anyways living together. You are dating each other every single day. It is longer than a date night. So it is good to go on date nights, to buy your partner gifts and treat them and go away from that thing. But also it's not helping your root cause. So then go read texts written by professionals, okay, where they tell you active ways, not game khello or let's play a game or do this or be physically super intimate, that is going to solve it. No, first solve your mental issues. Even couples who have issues in their sexual life, why does that happen? Because again, something mentally they are not comfortable with in the act is why they are unable to, right? Which is fine. So give them time. It's not a 1 week or a 1 month thing. For some people it can take a few months also, which is fine, but you will see improvement if you genuinely follow that. So find good books, self-help books, which both of you can read and actively participate and everything. And another way would be, if you find space or comfort, try to do the other partner's activity. If you think that like couples fight a lot about the tasks assigned to each other, like XYZ things I will do, XYZ things you will do, but they fail to, right? Or they think, what are you doing, you do so less. So make them do that thing. Okay, tell them if it's so easy, not like a fight way, just to understand, is it really that easy? If I genuinely think what my partner does is easy, so then I can also do it now. I am also capable, I am educated, why can I not do it? Let me do it. But also understand the manipulative part. At the beginning of the conversation we had, you said, we can't be so naive. Great point. True. Don't be naive. Don't let your partner manipulate you. Okay, because a lot of relationships are toxic because of just one person. We must keep that in mind. It's not always both people, but again, you play a part. Even if one person is manipulative, you play the part of being naive. So don't be naive. Try to understand, is this really me? Or is my partner manipulating me? Am I being irrational, or is he making my needs feel irrational? Right? If these are things where you need to understand. Like you said, how do we know that we can't be so naive to think that the man is genuinely not flirting with somebody else, or they're not having a relationship? The way to go about it is not to constantly check their phones, okay, or to constantly keep a tab on it, because if you're doing that, you're just policing them, just finding evidence. You don't need to do that. And if you know your partner is cheating,
that is pushing them away.
Yeah,
if he's not even cheating, if you're constantly nagging,
Definitely. And one more thing. If you know, or
Yeah.
if you have evidence for yourself to know that your partner is cheating, you don't need to prove it to your partner. You don't need to prove it to your partner only to leave them. Just leave them. You don't need to prove it to them, right? Because maybe they will never agree with you. What are you waiting for? An explanation or a sorry? Is it going to heal you? Is it going to make you go away? No, you will stick on to them and then you will give them another option of how they can cheat on you again.
Yes.
That is what you're doing. They are going to be more clever. It's like, AI. You are going to give them more information, they're going to be better at it. So don't do that. If you have enough information, or if you know that you are coming from a place of mistrust which cannot be fulfilled, no matter if the person changes, there is no point in making that person suffer who has cheated you. You are also making them suffer. If they're genuinely going to change, you will still see them from the same viewpoint. So if you know you're not comfortable with living with a person or being in a relationship with a person who has hurt you, move away. If you have enough evidence that you know that, yeah, this person flirted, or you consider that flirting, move away. If you're not comfortable, move away. Just tell them you're not comfortable, right? If not a breakup, if you know that they have cheated on you, you want to move away from them, you don't want to work this out, why do you need to convince the person? Why do you need to constantly find so much of evidence or make a whole report and then show it to them? And then what are they going to say? That you are wrong. Oh no, I did not mean it that way. You know how it means. God has given you a brain. You have a brain of your own. You have intellect. Why don't you use it to understand what is happening? That's how you know if you have a manipulative partner. If you know the guy has this habit of constantly talking to somebody else, or the girl is a constant cheater, she speaks to many guys just to cheat on you and have her own advantages, but she's stuck onto you because she's comfortable with you, then move away. There is no point of asking for an explanation. You ask them, you don't get it, leave. Don't force the other person. Just the way she is not supposed to force you, you are not supposed to force her. And just the way he is not supposed to force you, you're not supposed to force him. It's quite simple. Don't force people. You have done that. Everybody's done that in the past. No, I need a explanation. I need closure. What are you gonna do with that closure? Have you ever got closure? Have you felt any better after getting closure?
Closure is a made up term by movie people to sell tickets.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly, right?
I would
Mhm.
like to ask you, how important
Yeah,
is self love for the furtherance of a healthy relationship?
very, very important. Like I said, when we talk about anything in our life going haywire, we forget how capable we are to handle the situation. This sounds very religious or spiritual or whatever, but we are genuinely burdened with only that many things that we can genuinely handle. We genuinely are. Otherwise, those things wouldn't come our way. If we have gone through abuse, I'm not saying it's valid at all. Not once do I say that you should have gone through it, but if you did and you're still there, yes, you are capable of handling that, right? So self-love is important. If you go through any hurdle in your life, you tend to forget. When it's so difficult, you tend to forget how capable you are to handle it, how you can reach out to people. There are people in the world who will help you. You just need to keep staying there and just try to figure it out. You will, right? Especially I'm talking about adults here, keeping in mind, because it's a very different thing when we talk about different people. I'm talking about adults who are mature, who are healthy individuals. I'm talking about those people. You are in a good position to come out of that. Self-love is thus very important, not just for the current scenario you're in, but to learn from the current scenario and to apply it somewhere else. Self-love is very important when we're going to new relationships, because you have new boundaries that you learned to set from before. Boundaries, when we talk about, that doesn't just mean that, oh, whatever 20 hours I want a week, so I want to. That's not what it means. Healthy boundaries mean a mutually understanding thing that, yes, I am somebody who needs 15 hours a week to myself, otherwise I cannot function. If I need to go to the gym, it takes me 2 hours for 7 days a week. So how many hours is that? 14 hours. So I need 14 hours to myself. Nobody will tell me what to do about this. I can make a few adjustments on certain required days, but nobody is going to tell me that working out is not important. Nobody is going to tell me that my work is not important. You should set these healthy boundaries, because there are many people in the world who will put you down for you working hard. They will tell you that it's not that hard. They should not have that space, and you should not give them that space. Don't feel, never feel ashamed of giving yourself time, or if you require, let's say you can do a task in 2 hours, Akash, I cannot do it.
Right.
It takes me 5 hours to do it. Will you put me down and tell me, oh my God, how can you take so much of time? No, if you're a good person, you will tell me it's okay, you take that much of time till the time you love your thing. There are people in the world who can do a task in 2 hours and be like, yeah, I'm satisfied. Some people will do it perfectly in 2 hours, but they want to spend more to make it even better. So we tend to, as a community, as people in the world, we tend to put such people down and tell them, why are you putting in so much of effort? So these are negative things that we do as a person, not even just in relationship, in general. That becomes a general practice in our relationship. We tell them, no, you have to do it like that. So these are healthy boundaries that we need to set for ourselves. If we like to do things in our way, we will. Sometimes you should make those changes, or maybe in certain scenario, many times you will have to adjust to the person, but it should be valid. It should not be forced. And that comes only when you love yourself, when you respect yourself. And with love, yeah, there should be respect. You should genuinely respect yourself. And if you feel you don't deserve self-love or respect, understand why. There is no individual in the world, I believe, is not capable of self-love or respect. You respect yourself. If you think, I don't deserve respect from anybody, I'm such a pathetic person, I need to be with this person, I cannot be alone, then understand why you're so pathetic. Understand why do you not respect yourself. Understand what is your mind, your body telling you, where you lack, and work on it. I'm pretty sure everybody is then able to, and then that impacts your relationships. Every
Right.
relationship so much better.
If you are a victim, suppose, say, which tends to happen more with women, of domestic abuse or
Mhm.
marital rape,
Connected.
shouldn't they just walk away?
Yeah. See, this is the problem, when it's like, how do I say it? Mm, this is a very big thing. You, most people, I think, will tell you that obviously walk away. What are you waiting for? What are you thinking? But when you ask the victim, they'll be like, no, that is my husband. I can't. I have children. I'm not educated. Or even if I am, I haven't worked for a long time. How will I manage the expenses? He is my husband. Where will I go? The society will say this. And you can't say that's not a valid fear. Society does say that she must have done something. I know that the number of people who will say these negative, pathetic things are small, this small. But this small might also be 500 people. And if 500 people tell her that you have done this, it impacts you. You're a human being. These things will impact you. And especially when you're at such a low of your life, even 5 people saying it will impact you. Even if 1,000 people are helping you, when you're in that negative space, right, you tend to think, we are just function that way. Right? We are taught how to, as a human being, taught how to think about those negative things more than the positive. We are always told, if you do this, then you will get that. If you don't do this, then your mind constantly is like, if I don't do this, then this thing will be taken away. That is why nowadays, with better things coming up, we teach people positive reward and positive reinforcement instead of negative. So that we were born as positive individuals, we just turned by our environment into negative individuals. Same thing goes with these domestic violence victims. They're abused. Obviously, they should walk away. But do they actually have the tools and the methods and the things that they need to survive? Most of the women who are housewives go through, I don't mean most women who are housewives go through domestic abuse, but most of the women who are domestically abused, they are either
Right.
housewives
Right.
or women who are not capable of moving out.
Independent,
Independent,
financially
yeah, you could say
independent. Yeah.
independent. Or they don't, even if they are independent financially, it's not enough for their children to survive. Or if they are just a single person, they don't know, their families might not accept it, or they might feel mentally shame. So those things can be worked upon. Like if a woman is educated to make them financially independent, these things can be worked upon. Or if she has a fear that the family would not support her, we can tell them that no, your family will be fine. Some cases families are genuinely not fine. You can tell them how to work upon not caring about the family, because if the family genuinely loved her, then they would. But some women or some people in general, you can't change their mindset. Okay, you will try your level best, but there should be a willingness from their end also. So sometimes you can't. Then again comes a loads of years of trauma, or even if it's a year of trauma, the woman is so traumatized they can't think for themselves. Because trauma, like, if you have a very negative experience, if you are beaten every day, you feel worthless. Obviously, that's why you're getting beaten up, right? Like, because you're feeling worthless right now. That's why you're accepting that abuse. Initially, you might not have, but eventually, with time, you're like, this is what I know. This is the known devil. What if I go with another man? He might beat me even more. At least he let me eat. What if he just shuts me in a room and just beats me? What will I do? What if he tortures me even worse? So you think, okay, if I know, at least I know what torture he does, so I can live with him. You get my point? It sounds very stupid maybe right now to people who might hear
No,
this, but
no.
it's true. How their mind works. It's true. They are so traumatized. They don't know any better. Sometimes they're in arranged marriages. They didn't even want to get married. Maybe they wanted to study. Maybe they wanted some other life they imagined. Then they see this horror of a person, or maybe for some women, their fathers beat their mothers. It's normal for them. I think there are so many documentaries on YouTube, so many YouTubers, so many people doing podcasts who speak to other people of different places which are not that well to do. Or even if they are, they speak to people and everybody, even when we talk about rape. In Haryana, there was this video that this man had done. He asked, why do you think rape happens? Right? So what did women say? Women are saying this. Tali dono haath se bachti hai. So does she mean that the victim had something? Was she asking for rape? No, I don't think any person can ask for these negative things to happen. Right? So it's always done that. That is a major reason why women don't go out, because they don't get that support. They don't have, we, even with our law, however good our law and I mean our laws are, it's very hard. It takes a long time for the procedure to go ahead, for them to fight for their rights, and it takes a lot of money also, right? And time. And you don't have a set time. And every time we think about going and punishing this person, we think about we need to deal with the police, who
The
again will have a
harassment.
very corrupt. Yes, the
Yes.
harassment. What has happened to you? Right?
Yes.
What did he do to you? It's not easy. It's not easy. It's said to be easy. And what if during that time again the man beats her up? Who's going to do that? What if the family members beat her up? Who's going to protect her? Is somebody going to take her in? Are we, as an individual, if a woman comes in and tells me, oh, my husband is beating me up, we'll just go to the husband and tell him that don't do that. We'll threaten him. But is that going to stop him? Are we giving the woman the shelter that she needs? Are we giving that? So these are major things that we forget when we easily say she should just walk out. She should, but if she had the method to, she would have. And some women who don't, it comes again. I'm saying this is a whole societal norm that we have.
Right. Right.
But yes, if you're asking me straightforward, yes, should they? Yes, they should. Unless a life-changing thing happens, and in 2 years the man is a changed man and he's doing everything right.
It's not going to happen.
When she, no, I don't think this can happen, that they will change, because if they wanted to, they would. They need years of therapy. If he's willing to put in those years when you are not with them, and you are staying away from the person because they can relapse into that behavior. If you are both of you are willing to do that, from both of you, I mean the man and the woman, they are willing to stay apart. The woman can have her own life, work on herself, get therapy herself, figure herself out, find ways. If she's not educated, get that education, find a work, or even if she just wants to be a housewife, if she has kids, if she doesn't have kids, she wants to work on herself, her health, whatever, let her work on it, let her come out of that trauma. And the meanwhile, if the man actually works on it for whatever number of years he takes, if you are willing to do that commitment, sure, you can have a change in that 360. That can happen. But again, is he gonna do that? Is that actually going to happen? It's a very wishful thinking thing. I don't believe in that. And I don't think as a person, as an individual, I can continue to live with a man who would have beaten me up, who has put me in that vulnerable position. But again, like I said, people are different. I won't force my opinion on my client or anybody who comes to me or anybody who's gone through trauma. But these are very individualistic things, right? Even as a therapist, if I know my client is in a very toxic, abusive relationship, I can't tell her, get out. I will tell her that that is the right thing to do. It is her choice. I can't make that choice. I can't force her to, leave the person, move on, have a beautiful future. There are so many men you can live with. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So that is my answer. Yes, they should. Ideally, that is the right thing to do, or at least go away in the midst of it, but not everybody chooses to. So I let them make their own decision, and then we need to find ways of how they can improve. But yes, if you are in the situation, definitely make ways and find ways to improve the situation.
This
Individually, yes.
feeling of helplessness that you rightly pointed out, that some people try to say, yes, I deserve it. So they unfortunately start defending their husband or whoever
Yes,
abuses them, that no, it's not their fault.
correct.
So Okay.
Yes, they do
So
defend that, definitely. And that is a
jumping,
very thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
And you one more thing. You mentioned one more thing. You said that they defend their partners because they think they deserve it, right? And I completely believe anybody who is abusing anybody, anything in the world, be it animals, be it human beings, be it their children, be it their wife, be it their parents, or themselves, if they hurt themselves, they are mentally not stable. So we should know this. This is not a question. This is a set rule. Okay. That, yes, if anybody is harming somebody else for whatever the reason might be, they are not mentally fine. Right? Unless it's to defend themselves. Now, defending themselves is a
Right.
very different thing from going ahead and abusing a person or thing living their life. Or just because you're angry at somebody, your emotions should not make you so overpowered that you're beating them, hurting them. That should never happen. If you're defending themselves and somebody gets hurt, it's a whole different thing.
That is a
Right?
different story. Yeah.
Yes,
So
exactly.
if your partner is suffering from a mental disorder, so what steps should the partner take, and you should take?
If you know your partner is suffering from a mental issue, it doesn't always have to be a disorder per se. It could just
Right,
be
of
some mental
course.
trauma or mental issues that they have. It could actually be a disorder because if it's so prominent that you are seeing it, it could be a disorder. So, the steps that you should take is this totally depends on what kind of partner you have. If you, because now we've spoken out so much of negative thoughts and negativity and toxicity and abusive relationships,
Yeah.
now my mind is also wandering like if you have an abusive partner. But if you talk about in general,
This is the power of
depending on,
vibes.
yeah, definitely. See, this is why we
Yeah.
need good energy. This is why we need a good nurturing partner. And
Yes.
this is why no matter if you are in any kind of relationships, you need this positivity, definitely. So depending again on your
Right.
partner, it would really depend. So if he is a very, if not he, but like if your partner, whoever that is very understanding, they are aware of mental health. First of all, even if you are aware of mental health, right? If you just call it tension, yeah, he's aggressive, you need to understand better terms and better words to describe the emotion that they're facing. Right. So, what is the tension about? Is that a fear? Is there a problem with his perception? Try to understand their point. You also don't be so fed up. I know it is very hard, but you need to first focus on yourself. How are you managing their things? If it's a loving partner, right? If it's a proper partner that is there, understand their energy, try to understand where they're coming from and what you can do to kind of be there for them, right? Be there doesn't mean you need to solve their problem A to Z or give them solutions. That's not
Yeah.
always what being mean. It could even mean being able to give them a cup of tea during their bad time when they're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed due to work. Also, you can just give them a cup of tea or just be there for them, sit them, hear them out. Sometimes the best therapy is when the person vents and you hear them out, you understand what their actual issues are. Even if they're not being vocal verbally about it, you read into what they're trying to say and you understand them. You hear them and you are obviously their partner. So obviously you would know a lot about them better. So you can take from there, and maybe you can consult a mental health professional or a person who's actually a professional to get help from them to understand what you can do as an individual, because maybe not all partners are ready, or even if they're not against a therapist, they just feel that I don't need it. You get my point? They're not against it, they don't
Yes.
think that they're bad, but they're like, I don't need it. And they have not gone to the point of thinking that they have to tell the therapist xyz things, because in their head they haven't even met the therapist, right? So the person thinking, they are like, no, no, I can easily go to a therapist, I can easily say whatever, but I don't want to, I don't think I need it. Now this, why do people say that? I don't think it's very easy to speak to a therapist also, not because of the therapist being good or bad,
The
because when
vulnerability.
you, the vulnerability, exactly, because when you actually go in therapy, me being a therapist, I have been to a therapist, so I know how it feels. I was like, oh, my the psychology background, I can easily go, I will tell them this, okay. And I mentally had this in my mind. Oh, I will tell them this at the first session, I know this is what they will ask me. So 10 things I had already, so that I don't waste the time. My point was, I don't want to waste the time, I want it to be as efficient as it can be. I want whatever, right? Because being from a psychology background, I found this therapist that I think is gonna suit me, right? So I'm there. The moment she started speaking to me now, and she started, being like over there, it all went like haywire for me. I was like, but then when the therapy was over, I'm thinking, but I thought this. I had to say that. Like it happens, right? So the person is not in a mode where they don't know how vulnerable they're gonna be, what is gonna come out. One session you planned something, you thought this is my problem, and maybe she said something and you're just talking about some other trauma that you've had, which is nothing related to your life right now, which is fine. So people forget how vulnerable they can be with a therapist and how it's gonna be and what they're gonna say. So best thing is if your partner is not ready to, you go to the therapist. Okay, tell them XYZ is happening. What can I do? You will also get good therapy and you will also be able to help your partner. And then slowly, slowly, when your partner is feeling that trust, you have built that good relationship. When you slowly introduced them to the thing that I feel not that you need therapy, but I feel because of the symptoms that you're having, not the symptoms but the things that are happening in your life, we can meet somebody to help you, let's say with the financial part of it, with the stress part of it. There is nothing wrong with you. Obviously there's never something wrong with the person. It's always their thoughts, their perceptions that are issues, right? The way they perceive things, they're unable to manage it. Let's go for that. Put it in a positive way. Don't burden that person. Don't make them feel that, oh my god, there's something wrong with you, that's why we're unable to spend time, we're unable to do this, we have problems because of you, because you are not coming. Don't do that. Don't pressurize that person. Put it in a positive way, just the way you would want it. Do that, and I think then you will be able to change the persons and help them. And also the partner would be more happy to listen to you because you've
Yes.
been through that journey of the negativity, right? So this is you doing like a foot in the door thing. Like you help them, now you're like, let's do this, the actual thing, and they would be willing. Why would they not, right? They also want help. Who doesn't want help, right? So they would
Right.
definitely, and eventually it would help both of you.
Most relationships end because people, when they get in relationship, they think it's going to be all lovey-dovey, the
Yes.
honeymoon phase, right? But they're not willing to put the work after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think any concluding remarks regarding that you would like to give?
Yes. So when we talk about relationships or dating, I believe we forget that it's a 24-hour job, right? Like
Yes.
in the entire of the podcast, we have spoken about how relationships don't just mean relationship. It means your personal, your physical, your financial, all aspects of your life, right? So when we talk about relationship, I don't mean dating, but I mean relationships and marriage and committed relationships where you both are committing to each other. Definitely, it's a 24-hour job because you are not only keeping the wellness of yourself, but also your partners. So it is a 24-hour job. Yes, you will have to put in effort. Yes, there will be amazing benefits of being in a relationship. There, I don't know how to say it, but I don't think there is a downside of being in a relationship, so as to say.
Rough
Common
patches.
rough patches, yeah, but I mean to say that I don't think there is any negative part of being in a relationship.
Right.
Like people say that there is so much of negativity of being singles people have so much fun and whatever. I think you can do it in a relationship. And the added benefit of being in a relationship and having someone is that you have somebody to share it with. You have like double the experience. You get it like your experience and their experience. So, and also with that, of course, it has some things that is doubled when it's bad. Like if you are stressed and your partner is also stressed about their life, you'll have double the tension. But then that's the beauty of being in healthy relationships, that you can figure it out together, right? You can
Right.
work on it. You have two people working on the same problem. You have two heads, right? So I would definitely recommend that. But also to people who are not in relationships, who are dating or not even dating, I think toxicity can also mean to yourself or your relationship with yourself or with your surroundings. So in conclusion, that would be my thing, that try to figure out what you need to work on and what your surroundings you expect from them, and have sensible boundaries in terms
Right.
of those things what you want. And yeah, I think everybody can be in healthy relationships then.
Thanks, Adya. It was very informative to talk to you. I'll just pause the recording.
Yeah, cool.